looking at the castles. Oh my. Here on the good ship Viking Siegfried, with its crew and passengers, tough, weather hardy, strong.
Between the trees, it's hard to see a statue of a gentleman with a sword slowly in triumph. That must refers to Siegfried from the Nibelungen story. Siegfried from the Nibelungen, yesterday, so the statue became famous to this. By the end of the story, like in the German fairy tale, everybody's dead. It's not how it goes. And if you're really interested in the time, if you find one, some people say if you get Jules Reiner, he made 16 fight.
Brought to you by Protestantism and Catholicism.
And if they did not get paid, they paid themselves. So you still find lots of treasures and artwork in the Swedish Museum. Help of the Marshall for several years already, and then the Germans started to produce again. In 1969, the invention of the phone propeller was from Rotterdam to Basel of 18 people, and since 1994, with the Rhine Danube Canal open, you can move with big ships through this area. Yeah, the Rhine Danube Canal costed 6 billion euros in these days. It's a lot of money, but they make it back due to tourism.
Well, it isn't quite Siegfried's Rhine Journey, but it is fun. The wind's blowing over all the chairs.
This point of time where you see the 7-story wall.
It says Backwacker Han. I think that's an H. Yes. Backwacker Han. Not Burt Bacharach. Somebody else.
Magnificent thing, and laybys have been thoughtfully provided for visitors to Basel but the best way to see this unique feature, it's even unique for German standards, is of course from a ship where they are not holding this, having a very pleasant pacing, so you have all the time to take your fantastic look here on 2% of the tickets to Amsterdam.
They had the most vineyard workers in the world.
That grew up because so many ships got shipwrecked there. And the legend tells us that there is a beautiful young maiden with blonde hair, combing it with a golden comb, sitting on top of a rock 365 feet high, singing and chanting songs while she is combing her blonde hair. Well, she's singing so enchanting that the captains on the boats below get distracted and find their ends on the rocks. Please do not expect a mermaid sitting on top of a rock, because a long time ago the Lorelei chose the son of a prince-elector as one of her victims. He was not amused with that and sent out an army to arrest her. And when the army arrived on the spot where the Lorelei was seated, Father Rhine pulled out a wave of 366 feet, took her in his arms, and she has never been seen anymore.
Father Rhine.
It is a big inspiration for many people in Germany and even for outside. For example, the pop group Styx in the 1970s, they had a song called Lorelei. Cole Porter described her as the lady who broke the sailor's neck. And there was Heinrich Heine, who wrote half a dozen of rather maudlin poems about the Lorelei after he was jilted by his cousins. She didn't like him, and 2 weeks later her sister also sent him away. And in his bar in Düsseldorf he wrote these poems, and there's no doubt that the lady in the poem is his real life cousin. Yeah? The Lorelei poem, Ich weiß nicht, was soll das bedeuten, warum ich so traurig bin. Ein Märchen aus uralten Zeiten. Es geht mir nicht aus dem Sinn. Normal bus are 100 meters every time, so we have 548, and then height was 9, and then we have 555, and then 300 more yards, all on the starboard side, right hand side facing forward.
Starting to cloud up here.
We're crossing now the cities of St. Goa and St. Goarshausen. St. Goarshausen is where we see the famous Katz Castle. The Katz Castle was owned by the Counts of Katzen and because they were Romanans, and they said that from this castle they have the best food I say that's true,
oh, there it
because
is.
the castle is privately owned by a German welfare organization, and it houses a private boarding school, so it is not open for the public. Some great schools in the area is also famous for collecting salmon. There is almost salmon in the there is almost salmon in the Miracle that he became the patron saint of innkeepers. Very soon coming on portside, and portside you will see the castle that was once the largest castle on the Rhine River. But first we have the Counts of Katzen, and then the Katz Castle on your right side. And then there is a Katz Castle here, you also can see a House Castles.
Altstadt. That building has a rooster on the top. Kind of a fan of that sort of thing. the Viking Sigyn up the Rhine.
Lofty structures. And the castle is still owned by this company from Berlin, and yeah, sometimes they live in there. So the Mouse Castle. You see a lot of houses. The highway road up to the house. Nevertheless, if you look in between the flags and the electricity poles on the street level, you will notice that these people built their own railroad track to go to their house. There's a little railroad track going up the mountain, a hybrid construction to get up there.
Funicular railroad.
So you also see all the terraces. All the old terraces you see here used to be for wine. It was Charlemagne who came here in 980, and he thought the microclimate was perfect, so they brought in the first vines, and then they 3 years later had the first wine. So ladies and gentlemen, we just passed by kilometer mark 560, 560. The next two castles are at 566. I would say this is about 15 to 20 minutes. So if you feel like having a little pit stop or get a cup of coffee or something, this is the moment to do. We will continue the narration in about 10 to 15 minutes. Ailing father who died shortly after Conrad's departure. Well, Angela and Henry lived in the castle. Henry very faithful to his brother, he behaved, and Angela was waiting with longing in her heart. And after 3 long years, Conrad returned. But he was not alone. He brought with him a beautiful Greek bride. Yes, and Henry was furious, and the two brothers met in a duel till death. But Angela intervened and stopped the feud. Nevertheless, the two brothers could